In December 15, 1966, Burbank, California. Walt Disney dies in a hospital bed. He's 65 years old, lung cancer, heavy smoker for 40 years. His company, the Walt Disney Company, is worth about $80 million. Successful but not extraordinary. Fast forward to today. That same company is worth over $200 billion, the most powerful entertainment empire on Earth. Disney owns Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, ESPN, ABC, Hulu, Disney+. But here's what nobody tells you. 40 years before Walt Disney died a millionaire, he was bankrupt, living on beans, stealing pencils to draw, sleeping on a couch in his uncle's house. He failed not once, not twice, 5 separate times before age 30. And every time everyone told him his dreams were impossible, he bet everything he had and proved them wrong. This is the story of how a broke, failed animator with an abusive father became the man who invented childhood as we know it. From bankruptcy to billions, from stealing characters to creating Mickey Mouse, from Disney's Folly to the Magic Kingdom. This is the complete, unfiltered story of Walt Disney. December 5, 1901. Walter Elias Disney is born in Chicago, Illinois. His father, Elias Disney, is a harsh, demanding man, a failed farmer, a failed businessman, bitter, angry, and he takes it out on his sons. When Walt is just 4 years old, the family moves to a farm in Marceline, Missouri. It should be idyllic, a small town, countryside, animals. Walt will later say these were his happiest years. But they're also brutal. Elias Disney is a tyrant. He beats his sons for the smallest mistakes. He works them like adult farmhands. Walt is too young to do much, but he watches his older brothers suffer under their father's fists. 2 of Walt's older brothers, Herbert and Raymond, run away from home as teenagers. They can't take the abuse anymore. They escape. Walt is left behind. In 1906, when Walt is 5 years old, his father fails at farming. They lose the farm. The family moves to Kansas City. Elias buys a newspaper delivery route. And at age 9, Walt Disney is forced to wake up at 3:30 a.m. every morning, even in brutal Kansas winters, to deliver newspapers before school. He delivers papers for his father for 6 years. His father keeps all the money, every cent. If Walt oversleeps, his father beats him. But Walt finds an escape, drawing. He draws constantly, on any scrap of paper he can find, animals, cartoons, imaginary worlds. When he's drawing, he's not on the freezing paper route. He's not being yelled at, he's free. At school, Walt is the class clown, the entertainer. He makes people laugh. It's the only control he has in a life where his father controls everything else. By age 16, Walt has had enough. He drops out of high school and lies about his age to join the Red Cross Ambulance Corps during World War I. He's sent to France. He's finally escaped his father. 1919. Walt returns from WWI. He's 18 years old. He wants to be a newspaper cartoonist. He gets a job at a Kansas City commercial art studio making $40 a month. It's not much, but it's his money, not his father's. At the studio, Walt meets Ub Iwerks, a brilliant animator who will become his closest collaborator and friend. They're both fired within weeks, not talented enough, the boss says. So in 1920, Walt and Ub start their own company, Iwerks Disney Commercial Artists. It fails within 1 month. They can't get clients. They have no business experience. They're 19 years old and broke. Walt gets another job at Kansas City Film Ad Company making animations for advertisements. He's learning the new art of animation, drawings that move. Walt becomes obsessed. Animation is magic. You can create entire worlds, make anything happen, no limits. 1922. Walt is 21 years old. He tries again. He starts Laugh-O-Gram Studio. He makes short animated fairy tale cartoons. They're clever, well-made, people like them. But Walt can't manage money. He spends everything on making the cartoons better. He pays his small staff but doesn't pay himself. He's living on beans, literally, beans and bread. By 1923, Laugh-O-Gram Studio is bankrupt. Walt Disney is 22 years old. He's failed twice. He's broke. He's living in his office because he can't afford rent. He's stealing food from the company refrigerator. He's so poor he steals pencils from a local school to keep drawing. His dreams are dead, or so it seems. But Walt's brother Roy, the one brother who stayed in touch, sends him a telegram. Come to California. You can stay with Uncle Robert. Start over. July 1923. Walt Disney arrives in Los Angeles with $40 in his pocket, one cardboard suitcase, and the clothes on his back. He's determined to become a director of live-action films. He's done with animation. Animation is what bankrupted him. But no one will hire him as a director. He has no experience, no connections, no money. So Walt does the only thing he knows how to do. He starts another animation studio. In his uncle's garage. October 16, 1923. Walt Disney and Roy Disney officially start the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. Roy handles the business. Walt handles the creative. Finally, a partnership that might work. They create a series called Alice Comedies, a real girl interacting with animated characters. It's innovative. A distributor in New York, Margaret Winkler, agrees to distribute them. For the first time in his life, Walt Disney has something that might actually succeed. 1927. The Disney Brothers studio is doing well, not rich but stable. Walt creates a new character, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Oswald is a hit. Audiences love him. The cartoons are successful. Disney is finally making real money. He hires more animators. The studio is growing. Walt is 26 years old. He's married to Lillian Bounds, a Studio Inc. artist. Life is good. He's made it. Or so he thinks. February 1928. Walt takes a train to New York to negotiate a better deal with his distributor, Charles Mintz. Walt wants more money per cartoon. He's earned it. Oswald is popular. Mintz leans back in his chair and smiles. Actually, Walt, Mintz says, I'm cutting your pay, and if you don't accept, I'm taking Oswald and all your animators. I already have contracts with them. They work for me now, not you. Walt is stunned. How is this possible? Then Mintz explains. Walt doesn't own Oswald. The distributor does. Walt never read the contract carefully. He was so eager to get the deal, he didn't realize he was signing away his own character. And Mintz has secretly hired away all of Walt's animators, except Ub Iwerks. Walt can either take a pay cut and keep making cartoons for a character he doesn't own, or he can walk away with nothing. Walt takes the train back to California. He's devastated. Everything he built is gone. Stolen again. He's 27 years old. This is his third massive failure. Most people would quit. But on that train ride, something changes in Walt Disney. He's learned the most important lesson of his life. Own what you create. Never give control to someone else. Ever. And on that train, Walt sketches a new character, a mouse. He's going to call him Mortimer Mouse. His wife Lillian says, Mortimer is terrible. What about Mickey? Mickey Mouse is born. And this time, Walt Disney owns him completely. 1928. Walt returns to California and immediately starts working on Mickey Mouse cartoons with Ub Iwerks. They produce 2 Mickey shorts, Plain Crazy and The Gallopin' Gaucho. Both flop. Distributors aren't interested. It's just another cartoon mouse. Walt is discouraged but not defeated. Then he learns about something revolutionary, synchronized sound. The talkies are sweeping cinema, movies with sound. What if a cartoon had perfectly synchronized sound? Walt bets everything on a third Mickey cartoon, Steamboat Willie. He hires a full orchestra. He personally performs Mickey's voice. Every sound effect, whistles, crashes, music, is perfectly timed to the animation. November 18, 1928. Steamboat Willie premieres at the Colony Theater in New York. The audience goes wild. They've never seen anything like it. A cartoon with perfect sound synchronization. Mickey Mouse whistling and singing. It's a sensation. Walt Disney finally has a genuine hit, and he owns it. Mickey Mouse becomes a cultural phenomenon. Merchandise, toys, comics, Mickey's face is everywhere. The Disney Brothers studio is renamed Walt Disney Productions. Roy agrees. Walt is the creative genius. Put his name on it. Through the 1930s, Walt creates more characters. Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto. The Silly Symphonies series wins Academy Awards. Walt Disney is successful, finally. But Walt Disney doesn't want to just be successful. He wants to do something no one has ever done. 1934, Walt Disney announces his next project. The first feature-length animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 90 minutes of hand-drawn animation. The entire industry laughs. They call it Disney's Folly. Animation is for 7-minute shorts. No audience will sit through 90 minutes of cartoons. It's impossible. It will bankrupt him. But Walt doesn't care what they think. He's betting everything, again. 1930-41937, Walt Disney becomes obsessed with Snow White. The budget is supposed to be $250,000. It balloons to $1.5 million, $6 times over budget. An insane amount of money in the 1930s. Walt mortgages his house. He borrows from everyone. The studio teeters on bankruptcy. His animators work brutal hours. Walt is a perfectionist tyrant. He demands scenes be redrawn dozens of times. He throws out months of work if it's not perfect. The animation is unlike anything attempted before. The multiplane camera creates depth. The characters move with realistic weight. The emotions are genuine. But it's killing the studio financially. If Snow White fails, Walt Disney loses everything. The house, the studio, Mickey Mouse, all of it. December 21, 1937. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premieres at the Carthay Circle Theater in Los Angeles. The audience is filled with Hollywood elite, skeptics, people waiting for Disney to fail. 9:30. As the movie plays, something magical happens. Grown men and women are crying. The audience is completely transported. By the end, they give a standing ovation that lasts several minutes. Snow White becomes the highest-grossing film of all time, a record it holds until Gone with the Wind 2 years later. It earns $8 million in its first release. That's $150 million in today's money. Walt Disney has done the impossible. This is innovation number 1. Feature-length animation is now a viable art form. Disney wins an honorary Academy Award, 1 regular Oscar and 7 miniature Oscars, 1 for each dwarf. Walt Disney is vindicated. The man who was bankrupt 5 times is now one of the most famous filmmakers in the world. 1940, Pinocchio, even more technically advanced than Snow White, but it's released just as World War II starts. European markets close. It loses money initially. 1940, Fantasia, Walt's artistic masterpiece. Classical music meets animation. It's too experimental. Audiences don't understand it. It flops. 1941, Dumbo, made cheaply to recover losses. It's a hit. 1941, Bambi, beautiful but expensive, loses money. And then, something happens that breaks Walt Disney's heart. May 1941, Disney studio animators go on strike. They're demanding better pay, shorter hours, and union recognition. Walt has been working them brutally. Long hours, low pay, no credit on films. Walt Disney takes it as a personal betrayal. He built this studio from nothing. He gave these animators jobs. He created Mickey Mouse. He made Snow White, and now they're ungrateful. The strike lasts 9 weeks. Picket lines outside the studio. Former friends, now enemies. Walt becomes bitter, paranoid. He starts to believe communists are behind the strike. He cooperates with the FBI, nomming suspected communists in Hollywood. The strike ends, but Walt never forgives the strikers. Some are blacklisted. The studio culture changes. Walt becomes more controlling, more distant from his workers. 1940-11945, World War II devastates the studio. European markets, half of Disney's revenue, are gone. The military actually occupies the Disney studio lot to make propaganda films. Disney survives by making training films for the military, but the company is drowning in debt. By 1945, the studio is $4 million in debt. Walt is creatively frustrated, financially desperate. 1950, Cinderella is Disney's last hope. If Cinderella fails, the studio closes. Cinderella becomes a massive hit. It saves the company. But Walt is tired of just making animated films. He wants something more, something no one has done. In the early 1950s, Walt Disney starts talking about a crazy idea. A theme park. Everyone thinks he's lost his mind. Early 1950s, Walt Disney has a vision. A clean, safe, family-friendly amusement park, themed lands that transport you to different worlds, immersive, magical, every detail controlled. Amusement parks in the 1950s are dirty, dangerous, and low-class. Carnivals with sketchy operators and broken rides. Walt's idea is the opposite. A place where parents and children can have fun together, where everything is clean, safe, and magical. He pitches it to banks, they all say no. Disney's Folly, they call it, again. Amusement parks are dying. No one wants them. It will bankrupt him. But Walt doesn't care. He's done this before. They said Snow White would fail. They said synchronized sound wouldn't work. They said feature animation was impossible. He's proving them wrong, again. Walt mortgages his house. He borrows against his life insurance. He creates a TV show called Disneyland and convinces ABC to help fund the park in exchange for the show. He sells sponsorships to corporations. Every land has sponsors. He'll do whatever it takes. July 17, 1955. Disneyland opens in Anaheim, California. Opening day is a disaster. A heat wave hits Southern California, over 100 degrees. The asphalt is fresh and women's high heels sink into it. Plumbing breaks, drinking fountains don't work. Counterfeit tickets flood in. The park is dangerously overcrowded. A gas leak forces parts of the park to close. Rides break down. The press calls it Black Sunday. Walt doesn't care what the press says. He knows the park isn't finished. It will never be finished. He'll keep improving it every day. Within 7 weeks, 1 million visitors. Within 1 year, Disneyland is a massive success. This is innovation number 2, the modern theme park. Walt didn't just build rides. He built immersive experiences. Main Street USA, Fantasyland, Adventureland, Frontierland, Tomorrowland, each one a complete world. Disneyland changes the entertainment industry forever. Late 1950s 1960s, Disneyland is a phenomenon, but Walt wants more. He starts secretly buying land in Florida, over 27,000 acres. He uses shell corporations so sellers don't know it's Disney and raise prices. He's planning something bigger than Disneyland, Disney World. And more than that, EPCOT, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Walt's vision, an actual functioning city of the future, where 20,000 people live and work, a utopia, climate-controlled, efficient, perfect. Walt is obsessed. He spends hours planning EPCOT. It's his ultimate dream, not just entertainment but actually building a perfect society. But Walt is a heavy smoker, 3 packs a day for decades. In November 1966, Walt goes to the doctor for a persistent cough. They find a tumor in his left lung, cancer, advanced, too late to operate. December 15, 1966. Walt Disney dies at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank. He's 65 years old. Disney World isn't built yet. EPCOT is just plans and models. His brother Roy Disney, who was planning to retire, delays his retirement. He's going to finish Walt's dream. Roy oversees the construction of Disney World. He insists it be called Walt Disney World, not Disney World. It's Walt's dream. Walt's name goes on it. October 1, 1971. Walt Disney World opens in Florida. Roy Disney is there for the grand opening. He's 78 years old. He's finished his brother's dream. 3 months later, on December 20, 1971, Roy Disney dies. The 2 brothers who started a cartoon studio in their uncle's garage are both gone. But their empire is just beginning. So what did Walt Disney change? 5 fundamental things. 1. Animation. He proved feature-length animation could be art, not just entertainment. Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Bambi, they set the standard for 90 years. 2. Theme parks. He invented the modern theme park. Every theme park since Disneyland, Universal, Six Flags, Legoland exists because Walt proved the concept. 3. Merchandising. He was the first to fully monetize character licensing. Mickey Mouse on everything. Toys, clothes, lunch boxes. He created the merchandising industry. 4. Family entertainment. He defined what family-friendly means. Wholesome, safe, multi-generational. The Disney brand became synonymous with childhood. 5. The franchise model. He pioneered transmedia storytelling, same characters across movies, TV shows, parks, merchandise. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's Walt's model scaled up. But here's the deeper truth about Walt Disney. He wasn't a saint. He informed on colleagues to the FBI. He crushed unions. He was a control freak who drove workers to exhaustion. He possibly held racist and anti-Semitic views. Historians still debate this. But he was also a visionary who created joy for billions of people, who never gave up despite failing 5 times, who bet everything on impossible dreams and made them real. Walt Disney started with $40 in his pocket. He was bankrupt 5 times before age 30. He was stolen from, laughed at, told his dreams were impossible. He died in 1966 with his company worth $80 million. Today, that company is worth $200 billion. It employs 200,000 people. It shapes childhood for every generation. From bankruptcy to the Magic Kingdom. From stealing pencils to owning the most powerful entertainment empire on Earth.